I'm your host, Rob Carbone. This is BD4.
Barrett, some shake and bake, catch a three. Tantalizing the crowd. Oh, hang on to the roof. Goodbye. Anthony for three. Bang! That one goes down. Gotta put four fingers up when Torres comes to the plate. The wall. See ya. See ya. Got it.
All right, what's happening, everybody? Monday, August 30th, as I am recording. And hopefully, by the time you're listening to this, it's also the 30th. I'm going to try to get this up as quick as possible. Late night last night, so I couldn't record on the day I usually record, which is, hours after a Yankees series ends. But it is Monday, the day after the Yankees split with the Rays. But yeah, man, I had a busy weekend in terms of sports and covering things, so we're going to get to a lot. But Sunday, I couldn't record yesterday. Obviously, I was watching the fight. I was watching the Jake Paul, Tyrone Woodley boxing. If you want to call it a boxing match, you can call it WWE 2.0. Whatever you want to call it. So the good thing is I had the Yankees to watch, so I didn't have to waste my time watching that. And I don't know if they did, Triller, but I'm sure they did. I didn't have to waste my time, before the fight, the actual fight itself, watching that that whole pop culture, basically strip fest. Where just a bunch of degenerates go around dancing and artists and celebrities that everybody in my generation loves. I didn't have to watch that, so that was a positive of the night. Because what was it? It was the Askren Paul fight that we had to watch all that shit. So I didn't have to see that garbage. So that was a positive. My soul still remains clean from that. But yeah, and I actually saw some of the fight, the boxing match. Women's boxing match, the one right before the Paul fight, which was actually good. I don't know, her name was Serrano against the Mexican chick, but they were both good. One of them was 18-2, other one was like 41 1-1, and dude, that was a really good fight. It went 10 rounds, but of course the Serrano chick won. I'm trying to remember her name. I think it is. But, we got to the Jake Paul fight. Tyrone Woodley, Jake Paul. Now, I think heading into this fight, a lot of people did expect Woodley to give a better performance than, the three other clowns who fought Paul. Well, I like Askren, but, the fact that he fought a YouTuber, a retired NBA player, and a retired MMA fighter up to this one. Tyrone Woodley just recently cut, still in good shape, was, on track to be one of the better MMA guys of his time. I think people expected this one to be a little better. And we got it. We got a good one. It started out a bit slow, but this thing, finally somebody at least went the distance with Paul. And I don't want to waste my time talking about this junk because, it's just, the whole thing is just a gimmick. It's a money grab. It's a shame for boxing that some YouTube playboy has to be the face of the sport now, and we can't even get the same amount of revenue generated for pay-per-views like a Canelo fight. That shit's getting half the money, which is a joke. So I don't want to waste my time talking about this, but I did watch it. I was down the street at my buddy's house, and yeah, I wasn't shocked. Here's the thing. I knew that if it wasn't going to be knockout and it was a close decision, which it was split decision. I knew that if it went to decision, they would find a way to give it to Jake Paul. I'm not saying Tyrone Woodley got robbed. I think Jake Paul did win the fight. One of the judges had a 78-74. Which was interesting to me. But I just don't know. I'm just tired of the whole thing. People keep saying, all right, now we have to give Jake Paul credit. Now we have to give... No, we don't. Look what he's like. If I challenge somebody to a... If I challenge Steph Curry to a... Not me, I'm not even good. Somebody who's... Let's say somebody who's played varsity baseball before challenges Steph Curry to a home run contest and beats him. A home run derby. I'm not going to... that's not shocking. So how about for now on? How about instead of fighting guys who aren't boxers, he's fighting everybody but boxers. How about he now, 4-0, he's got confidence. How about now you fight a boxer to see what you're really made of? Now you fight somebody who's dedicated their entire lives to these moments. That would probably be best for the sport. If Jake Paul were to fight an actual boxer who is trained. Because you see the guys they stick in here. And again, Woodley put up a good fight, but you can just tell they're very unorthodox. They look very awkward up there. They're making McGregor look like he was... I mean, now you look back at it. Conor McGregor against Floyd Mayweather, you got to give him props now. Looking back at it. But I'm just tired of it. I'm sick of it. I was hoping he would have lost. I was upset when they made the call, but yeah, man. I'm just like, fight an actual boxer and then I'll give you some credit. Once you start developing a resume with actual boxers on your... And it's crazy that this opinion might even come off as controversial. That's nuts to me. That's insane to me. That I want an actual boxing match between two boxers. If this YouTube playboy is going to fight other randoms, I'm not giving him credit. If he wants to call himself a boxer, call himself the face of the sport, the problem child, this and that. Fight a boxer first, beat a boxer, I'll start giving you credit. How is that crazy to say? How is that crazy to want this kid who calls himself the face of the sport to fight an actual boxer? You have to fight one. I'm just going to keep repeating myself, so I might as well just end it here. And, you know, who knows? It's probably fixed. It's probably fixed. It's all probably fixed. That's how much of a joke this sport has become. BJ Penn called him out after the fight. Telling him not to do, you know, the little, when he licks the gloves. Said, you're wearing pillows. Look what I wear. And it's true, man. All these guys want to talk shit. Step into the octagon. Why is it always MMA guys going into the ring? Why are those boxers, or whatever this Jake Paul figure calls himself, why are those guys never coming into the octagon? Because they know better. They know exactly why they're not coming into the octagon. Stick to that one skill. But you go in the octagon, it's a whole different dynamic. You've got to be multidimensional. I'm just tired of this whole shtick. It's all a joke. Saturday was UFC Vegas 35. That was actually pretty fun. Didn't see the whole thing, but I saw, you know, the main events. The fights on the main card and stuff. Both of the main events were finishes, which was cool. The main event, you had Giga, who was it? Chikadze getting the TKO on Barboza in the third round. It was a 5-round featherweight bout. He gets the TKO in the third. You know, Chikadze is a guy who's got a history. You know, that was 9th straight victory now, 3rd straight knockout. He's now 7-0 in UFC, 14-2, I believe, in MMA. As a kid who was a kickboxer before he signed a UFC contract in 2019. After becoming a contender in Dana White's Contender Series in 2018. So he's now closer to a top 5 fight. Might get that opponent. He has to be a replacement fighter in the upcoming event with Volkanovski and Ortega. Called for a title shot. Called for Max Holloway. Maybe Max Holloway gets a shot at him now. Or he gets a shot at Max, rather. But yeah, he won this one. He gets the knee to Barbosa's midsection. Once Barbosa retreated, Chikadze pounced and landed a number of right hands to basically end it right there. He just landed strikes on his head. Barbosa falls to the ground. Basically just called off from there. Fight's called. There were two tough fights. Two fights from the Ultimate Fighter series. Both went to fighters from Volkanovski's side, I believe. I was going to watch that series. I started watching it, but I realized that the championship was on Saturday, so I was like, there's no point of it. I'll watch next season. But yeah, I hear it's very good. But it was Battle who got Urbina to tap. And then it was Tercios who defeats Brady Easton in a split decision. He earned that UFC contract. So those were the two tough fights. And that was pretty much the night. It was a good night. There were some other good fights, but I just can't remember now because I'm recording this on a Monday. They announced Rose Namajunas Zhang Weili #2. That's going to be added to the UFC 268 card, which I'm trying to attend at Madison Square Garden. That card is stacked as it is already. So now that's on it. Blows my mind. That's going to be electric. I'm sure it's going to be so pricey. Next week, we've got Darren Till and Derek Brunson. That's going to be fun to watch. Big Darren Till fan. Amanda Nunes, finally, they got the rescheduled date. I think it's sometime in December. December 11th is what I want to say. Going up against Pena, who's probably going to get murdered in the first round. Football starting up. Don't care. Actually have a fantasy team. Don't care. Probably won't pay attention to it much. I'm not into it. I'm not into it. I like college football. Excuse me. College football is fun, and I watch the Giants games. But I'm just not into it. It's boring as hell to me. Football in general. When I was younger, I was into it. But now I just can't do it. Mainly just basketball and baseball. All right. Yeah, that was it. I mean, that was it. That was the weekend. Just the Yankees series ended disappointingly. And then the MMA Saturday, and then why does Showtime have this thing on a Sunday, dude? Nobody wants to watch that shit on a Sunday. That's why it lacked excitement, because I kept thinking, this fight's going. It was late. It was past midnight, and I'm like, people gotta get up for work in the morning. I have work at 9 o'clock this morning. So you just keep thinking that, and it kills a lot of the excitement. If you make it Saturday night, it was a very quiet card for UFC, relatively, but it's Showtime. It was Sunday night. The start of this A's series with the Yankees, the first 2 games. Am I wrong for thinking the balls were like juiced? I mean, it looked like it. Every out was to the warning track. Every home run was blasted. Hard hit balls. It had a lot of carry to it. A lot of life. It felt like it. I don't know if there's any other thing I need to add before we break down the series here. Luis Gil will be coming out of the bullpen. I think that's so ridiculous. We want to put a reliever in front of him first. He'll still get his starting pitching count. I think that's bullshit. That's what Boone said. Just start the guy. You had him starting before. Why ruin it? Why mess that up? He was going fine. He was 15 2/3, no runs. Keep starting the kid. No need to put some BP pitcher Nick Nelson in front of him, or some substitute teacher Steven Ridings in front of him. Let Luis Gil pitch. Luis Gil's been doing great as a starter. There's no need to be cute and do all these stupid gimmicky Tampa Bay Rays shit. That pissed me off. If anything, you gotta kick Heaney out of the rotation. Heaney sucks. I don't want to see Heaney pitch. Kluber is back, so I'm assuming Heaney's not here. Kluber is actually pitching tonight against the Angels in Anaheim, so it's about a 10 p.m. game Eastern time, or 9:40, I think. So let's get into the series. We'll break it down a little bit, and then we'll go over the report card, and that'll be that. All right. First, we're gonna head to break. Stay with us. You are listening to RJ Carbone on BD4. If you haven't yet subscribed to this podcast, you can do that right now. BD4 is available on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor, and you can also watch it on YouTube. There are plenty of other platforms to find this podcast. All you have to do is go to linktr.ee/RJ Carbone. And that will take you to where you need to be. linktr.ee/RJ Carbone in order to subscribe to this podcast. All right. So, 1 second here. Let me make sure this is all set. Yeah, we gotta fix this. Hold on. All right, we're good. Yeah, the first game of this set. Again, the Yankees keep winning at the time. They take it 7-6. You had Jameson Tyrone up against former Yankee prospect James Caprillion. Are we good here? Yeah, we're good. Top of the first, Caprillion strikes out the side. There was that questionable call on Judge looking. Then top of the second, you get that questionable call on Gallo striking out looking to end the frame. That's when Aaron Boone gets tossed. Umpiring wasn't great in this series. I'm not going to spend my time bitching about it like everybody else would, but it wasn't good. Also on the top of the second, Stanton with 2 strikes gets that home run. 436 feet. Blasts it. Gardy then turns on a 3-1 fastball. He goes deep. It's 2-0 Yankees. Top of the third comes Velasquez has had a good start to his Yankees career. Crushes a curveball for a leadoff double. Rizzo then doubles to left field. Judge then walks, and then Gallo lifts one, literally, 419 feet after a long, solid at-bat. 6-0 Yankees after 3. Bottom of the third comes. A's kind of chip away here. Chapman turns on Tyone's 3-2 fastball. He goes deep. Tyon misplaces another fastball, this time to Murphy. He goes deep at 6-2. Couple of solo bombs. Bottom of the fourth, that's when Tyon, those location issues bite him again. He walks Olsen. Then he leaves a curveball to Harrison, who smacks it for a single, first and third. Tyon later walks another batter, Moreland, to load the bases. Then he walks the third batter of the inning, and Chapman. This forces it a run. Gets a quick K. Then that's when the Andrews 0-2 count single is enough to bring out Boone to pull Tyon for Abreu. Abreu faces Mark Canha. He induces a ground out for the third out, but by then it's 6-5 Yankees. Then the game's tied in the bottom of the fifth. Harrison gets that 2-out home run to left center off Abreu. A meatball slider. So 3 homers for each team. Some big ones too. Some deep ones too. Abreu then gets the third out, but before you know it, it's 6-6 tie game. No score for a while. Bottom of the sixth. Holmes pitches a pretty clean inning. He's been good for us. Bottom of the 7th, Lasagna gets the job done. He's been great, obviously. Top of the 8th, meanwhile, Yanks go 2 for 16 with 0 runs since the Gallo bomb. But finally, Judge gets the leadoff inning here, the leadoff double here in the top of the 8th inning. Then Gallo walks for first and second, nobody out. Later, with 1 out, Gary walks to load the bases, but Gardy pops up. Gio hits into a fielder's choice to end the inning. Gio's back. Bottom of the 8th, Lasagna picks up 2 more strikeouts. Then finally, we score in the top of the 9th off Trevino with 2 outs. You have Rizzo walking, Wade pinch running for him. He's still second. Judge, then the RBI base hit to right field, clutch hitting. And Judge has been coming through clutch a lot these past few months. That makes it 7-6 Yankees. Bottom of the 9th, Chapman gets the save. Kind of abandoned the slider in this one. Goes fastball heavy approach. I think he threw his 1 splitter in there. But he gets it done. The Yankee bats go for 7 runs on 9 hits, 4 walks, 9 strikeouts, no double plays hit into. 3 for 7 with runners in scoring position and a stolen base. Judge led with 2 hits, Gallo 3 ribbies, Gardy, Stanton, Gallo all homered. Caprillion ends up going 5 innings pitched, 6 runs. He's a solid pitcher. We banged him around. Tyrone, another, dud of late. 3.2 innings, 4 hits, 5 runs, 3 walks, 4 Ks, 2 home runs, 78 pitches. Location issues. His last 3 starts now pretty underwhelming. 14 innings pitched, 11 earned runs in those last 3 starts combined. But I don't, I'm not concerned. I think he's going to pitch exactly how his numbers say. He's going to be a decent pitcher. And then we go Abreu, Holmes, Lasagna, Chapman. 5.1 innings pitched combined. 3 hits, a run, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts in the home run. And the Yankees win. Game 2 of the set. Friday night. Yankees take this one 8-2. Garrett Cole on the mound versus Sean Manaea. Obviously, this is the whole thing before the first pitch. Umpires again. Randazzo forcing Manaea to change gloves because it was too light. Too light of the shade of green was too light, too bright. Top of the first, Manaea gets 2 quick outs. Then he surrenders back-to-back rocket singles from Judge and Stanton. But then Gallo strikes out and leaves them stranded. Yankees, they score in the top of the 4th. Stanton belts a 472-foot homer to center field off of a high fastball. Just an absolute monster shot. Go watch that replay. If you watch the replay, watch Tyler Wade's reaction to it. And then I think 2 batters later, you had Luke Voit going. This one was at least 430 to dead center as well. But it made this one look like it was nothing. 2-0 Yankees after 4. Cole kind of laboring, especially in the bottom of the 4th. Gets a strikeout, then a 1-out double. He surrenders to Harrison. Walks Chapman, then strikes out the next 2 batters to end the threat. Top of the 5th, the Yankees score more for him. Higgy and DJ back-to-back singles. Manaea then strikes out Rizzo. Judge works a full count, and then pulls one to deep left center for a goner. 5-0 Yankees, a 3-run bomb. Cole, in a jam again in the bottom of the 5th, loads the bases with 2 singles and then a walk. But then he overpowers Lowry on an elevated 4-seamer upstairs. Harrison then tattoos one, but Gio makes a nice leaping catch to save 2 runs. Gio made a couple of nice plays in this game. Bottom of the 6th, Cole finishes his day in dominant fashion. Striking out the side 1, 2, 3. I think it was Chapman, Canna, and Murphy. He goes 6 innings, 6 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 9 Ks, 104 pitches. Fastball slider command wasn't there in this one, but he muddles through another scoreless effort. Last 12 innings pitched, no runs. Last 17 2/3 innings pitched, 1 run. Recorded his 200th strikeout of the season in just his 24th start. Now he has 4 straight seasons of 200-plus strikeouts. It's crazy how that used to be the benchmark for elite strikeout pitchers. It still is, I guess, but now like you're seeing a lot more guys top 300. 300 seems to be the new 200, or we're getting closer to that. It's crazy to me. And it's bad. We talk about this enough. Bottom of the 7th, Rodriguez pitches like garbage. 1 out walk to Pinder, a single to Marte. Olsen then singles to the left side of the infield. This scores a run. Gallo makes a poor throw. Julie doesn't back up home, so Marte scores from first, and Julie's pulled for Green later to clean it up, which he did. Walked the batter first, but then he got the ground ball double play off the bat of Harrison. It's 5-2 Yankees after 7. Yankees tack on at the top of the 9th. Finally back on the board after 3 quiet innings. Velasquez, a bullet single to center field. Higgy shoots a 2-run bomb to right center in the gap. And then 3 singles in a row. DJ, Rizzo, and Judge. All of a sudden, it's 8-2 Bombers. They want Licky in the bottom of the 9th. He got the save. The Yankees win. The Bats go for 8 runs on 14 hits, no walks, 8 strikeouts, and no double plays again. 3 for 9 with runners in scoring position. Judge led with 3 hits. Judge led with 4 RBIs. He also homered, as did Higgy, Stanton, and Voit. Manaea goes 4.1 innings, 5 runs. Another solid pitcher who we get to. So that was a positive. And then that's the end of the 13-game win streak. That was it. 13 games in a row. Feeling great. But 13 is the number that never usually ends well when you come across it in whatever fashion. And so the Yankees can't get 14. They lose Game 3 of the series by a score of Oakland 3, New York 2. It's Cortez versus Montas. Bottom of the 2nd. Couple of hard hit outs to Gallo and Judge. Then you get the hard hit double by Pinder to deep center. A walk to Murphy on 4 pitches. Then Cortez surrenders an RBI base hit to Kemp. Then he balks on a pickoff attempt to Kemp to try and get Kemp. Runner on third base has to score then. And then he escapes the inning when Rizzo makes that nice sliding catch in foul territory at first. But 2-0 A's after 2 innings. Bottom of the 3rd, the inning of the replay system. Marte reaches on the throwing error by Odor, not Gio, which just amazing to me how he just got back and he already needed a day off. But later Marte steals third base. Clearly out, although Boone wasted the challenge in the inning prior, which was upheld. So in the next at-bat, Cortez hit hard again, this time off the bat of Gomes. He goes right to Odor, who doubles him up, though. It's a line drive. He catches it, steps on third for the tag. But it clearly looks like it should be overturned. But they call him out on the challenge. Melvin clearly pissed off. The inning ends. And then Kay's whining for the next half inning or inning. Just like he did the other day about the glove thing. Bottom of the 4th, Cortez 89-mile-an-hour heater. Just catches too much plate. And then Chapman takes it 403 feet to left center field, home run. Later in the inning, he kind of mocks the third base umpire. After he attempts to pick off again. He looks right at the third base ump. It was pretty funny. He got yelled at for it by a home plate umpire. But it's 3-0 after 4 innings. He doesn't look like he has it. Top of the 6th. Yanks retired again by Montas. Makes it 15 in a row at the time. Then the Mayu walks. But Rizzo makes the third out going down on strike. So still, after 6 innings, no hits since the Judge double in the first inning. So 17 batters in a row without hitting. Bottom of the 6th comes with 1 out. Marcanda reaches on an infield base hit. Nice stop by Velasquez. But the poor throw that Rizzo couldn't handle is enough to get Aaron Boone out of the dugout to bring in the righty Abreu to face the righty Pinder with the runner on first and 1 out. Abreu gets out of it, and Cortez, a decent line. He wasn't great in this one, but he, again, we said about Tyrone a lot. If this is the worst we're going to get from Cortez when he's not on, then we'll take it. 5 innings in a third, 4 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks, 4 Ks, and a home run. Top of the 7th, Judge ends the skid with a base hit finally. Past the diving Harrison at shortstop. He had only 2 hits. He was the only 2 hits for the Yankees at the time. But then Montes strikes Stanton out, gets Gallo to hit into a double play. Bottom of the 7th, Abreu. 100-mile-an-hour heater to Kemp. But he takes it deep to right. Stanton misplays it. It gets into a... It bounces off the wall, and he gets a double out of it. Nothing scores, though. Top of the 8th, the Yankees have a shot with a runner on first and 1 out. Odor's at the plate versus a lefty. He strikes out foolishly. Then instead of pinch hitting Gio there, they wait until the switch hitting Velasquez is up to do so, which was an interesting move. Regardless, Gio gets a chopper to third for the 3rd out of the inning. Bottom of the 8th, you had Gallo robbing Matt Chapman's home run to save Litke's ass. And I'm sick of like announcers and fans over analyzing when it comes to robbing home runs. We have to say, what would have been a home run? Would it have been an extra? He robbed him of an extra base hit. Nobody used to say that. Nobody used to say, he robbed him of an extra base hit. They just said he robbed a home run. Can we just leave it at that? I hate it. The Yankees streak of 8 games in a row with 5 runs or more ends. Obviously, their 13-game win streak ends. Again, Montes, brilliant, man. He was filthy, just like a robot out there, just working quick and throwing heat and some good breaking pitches, too. 7 innings, 2 hits, no runs, a walk, 6 strikeouts. And another good pitcher that Oakland has. Top of the 9th. Trying to rally here versus our longtime foe, Sergio Romo. Every time he comes in, I feel like we always rally but always come up short. Every time I see Romo, a lot of years with the Rays, I feel like that was the case. I always remember staying up late watching that and being so into it and nervous. DJ lines out to Chapman to start the frame. Rizzo then gets a no-man's land bloop single to left center. That brings up Judge, who mashes a 1-0 cement mixer slider to left center for the 2-run bomb. Now it's 3-2. But then Stanton gets under that one pitch. He could have had it. It just got under it. He pops it up to Kemp. And then Gallo ends the game with a weak rounder into the shift. So they come close, but not enough. The streak's broken. 3-2 A's win. Bats had just 2 runs on 5 hits overall. 1 walk, 7 strikeouts, 1 double play, and 0 for 1 in scoring position. Judge led with 3 hits. Judge led with 1 home run. And Judge also led with 3 RBIs. Let's get to the 4th game before we get to the progress report. Yankees lose this one too. What was the final score of this one? 3-1 A's, I believe. Top of the 1st. Well, this was ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. You had Montgomery versus Blackburn. Originally, I think initially it was supposed to be Luis Gil going, or Nelson starting, and then Gil going the piggyback. But they eventually just went back to what was initially supposed to be their plan in Montgomery. Top of the 1st, LeMahieu walks, Stanton singles. Judge gets a line out, though, and Gallo hits into a 2nd double play in a row. 2 games in a row. Top of the 2nd, Gardy 2-out single, but it's wasted. Another opportunity in the top of the 3rd. Wade gets hit by a pitch. Then he's caught stealing, but then Stanton singles, but we get nothing out of that. A lot of chances in this game. Top of the 4th, Gallo a leadoff single, but then Voit kills the rally with a double play. Gary later a ground out. Bottom of the 4th, A strike first. Monty allows a 1-out, a couple of 1-out singles. Then a ground ball to Gio, who makes an error, rushing to field it. And Monty gets a ground ball to Wade, but he's slow on the transfer. So initially in what was a double play, that's overturned, and the run ends up scoring from 3rd to home. 1-0 A's after 4. Top of the 5th, Tyler Wade singles, but that's wasted. Bottom of the 5th, Gio makes a really nice catch. You know, he had a couple of errors in this game, but he makes a run-saving, leaping catch with 2 on base for the 2nd out. Then you get the mound visit with Gomes up, who was 2 for 2 against Monty at the time. And he gets out of the inning with a ground ball to second. Top of the 6th, Petit in for Blackburn, who threw 5 scoreless in this one. He gets the job done. Top of the 7th comes. The Yankees finally score. Gary works a leadoff walk on Dykeman. Then he advances on that wild pitch. I'm reading my notes here. I really don't fucking remember a lot of this game. Like, after I watched the fight, that was just the only thing I've been thinking about all day. Gardy and Gio strike out. Rizzo gets the pinch hit plate appearance for Wade. He takes Dykeman 9 pitches, drills a hard grounder to Chapman. He misplays that one. Then a run scores. Gary scores from third. Game's tied. A-Rod makes a good point. That's why strikeouts aren't just another out. Then DJ lines out to Chapman next, and it's 1-1 after 7. Bottom of the 7th, Lasagna in for Montgomery. Kemp singles. Andrews pops up a bunt. Harrison fly ball to Gallo. He's out. Marte safe on Gio's second error of the game. Lasagna then walks Olsen. They mentioned at the time, crazy to me, Olsen had a 32% strikeout rate last year, down 15% this year to 16. The batting average is also up 80 points. His OPS is almost up 200 points. He's having a monster year. Big bounce back season. Blake comes out again to visit before Gomes is up. Then you have, Lasagna going 5 straight 2-seamers on Gomes on a 1-2 count. And then he finally gets him to chase a curveball low and away for the out. Filthy strikeout to end the inning. So it's a nice little sequence there. Monty goes 6 innings, 6 hits, no runs, no walks, 3 strikeouts, 83 pitches. He looked good. He had a good pitch mix. He was 64% of the time he had first pitch strikes. I think he faced 25 batters. A lot of ground outs with that fastball. The cutter was working well. The sinker looked good, so he was pitching well. Top of the 8th inning, Yankee bats continued to be quieted. The A's staying off of the plate in this one, forcing the Yankees to chase. Fuck. Not that the Yankees were generating a lot of strikeouts. They weren't missing a ton. It was just a lot of weak contact because they couldn't barrel it up. They were staying off the plate. There was no extra base hits for the Yankees at the time. Gallo worked a 2-out walk versus Guerrera, but then Voit gets overmatched trying to do too much, and he overswings for strike 3. Pressing. Bottom of the 8th, that's kind of when it ends. Green comes into the game. Why not Lasagna for 2? I would have thought about it, but we go Chad Green, who's been very inconsistent last couple of years. Gets a fly ball to Gardy. Gardy made a couple of nice plays in this one, too. He had a really nice play earlier in the game. Then he gets a ground ball out to Velasquez. Going to his right, makes the throw across his body. 1 hops to Voit for the second out. Mark Canha then doubles over Gallo's head. Then Kemp goes yard on Green. Pulls it to right field. Just turning on that inside fastball. First pitch, jumps on it. Leaves the park in about 2 seconds, not even. It's 3-1 A's. Breaks the tie. Sucked all the momentum out. Top of the 9th comes. Yankees' last chance, no fight. Gary, K, Gardy, K, Gio, quick ground out to short to end the game. So in all, we had 1 run on 5 hits, 4 walks, 7 strikeouts, 2 double plays hit into, no hits in 4 at-bats with runners in scoring position, a caught stealing, and 2 errors. Stanton had 2 hits. Nobody had a homer, nobody RBI'd. That was it. So a disappointing end to the series, but, whatever. If a split is what we get, you'll take it. Unfortunately, the Rays keep winning, so, that's that. 6 out. But we're still up by a couple of games in the first wild card spot. We've got LA tonight. Judge had a big series. He had 8 hits, a walk, 2 home runs. He's been hitting so clutch these last few months. Got to give him credit there because, we always get on him for I always call him beta in those situations. But now he's starting to show. He's been coming through big. Stanton obviously hot too. 8 RBIs in the last 7 games. 4 home runs, 370 during the span. He's batting .333 with an OPS over 1,000 in his last 24 games. And, not coincidentally, a lot of this is since he started to play the outfield a lot more. He's been in a great rhythm. He's been off his ass, not just sitting on the bench getting cold and overthinking. And he's been fine in the outfield too. And despite the one mishap this series, I think it was, he's been pretty good out there. And so we're going to head to break. And glad we rushed through that. I really rushed through that one, didn't I? When we get back from break, though, we're going to finish off this episode with our progress reports. And then we'll get to the question of the day, and that'll be that. I got a lot of work to do. I'm starting up class this week, so I'm sorry. It's not going to be a lengthy episode. Be right back. You can follow me on Facebook at r.j.carbone. You can follow me on Instagram at rjcarbone. And you can follow me on Twitter at nysportstalkrc. And if you want to follow along with the blog that I write, subscribe to It's My Opinion on nysportstalkrc.wordpress.com. All right, so let's run through it real quickly. Obviously, let's get to these progress reports. It's been 5 months now. The season is 5 months in, just about. So we'll start like I said before we start any of these. These are based off the own players' expectations, right? So not everybody has the same skill. So keep that in mind. It's based off each individual's expectation. So for someone like Gary, he's going to have a different expectation than Judge's expectations, than Wade's expectations, so keep that in mind when you see some some of the grades that you see. But we'll start behind the plate. We'll start with the players, then we grade the starting rotation as a whole, the bullpen as a whole, then we get to the team. We'll go with the team last this time. Start behind the plate, we'll go Gary Sanchez, who's batting .216, a .324 OPS, a .431 slugging, giving him a 755 OPS, 17 homers, 13 doubles, a triple. Oh, I do remember that. I gave him a C+. I think he's been okay. And that's what a C+ is. It's nothing that good, but it's nothing bad. It's decent. It's okay. He's been better than last year and the year before. Right? He's been playable. He's a playable player who's brought solid production, okay production, power. Right? I don't think he's incredibly robust like all these Gary Sanchez apologist fans are, which, mostly younger than me. Everybody wants to talk about elite. No, you want to look at an elite catcher, you look at Sal Perez. Go look at him and his numbers. That's elite for a catcher, okay? What Gary's doing is decent. It's good. But I'm not going to call him elite. And you also take into account that he's not the greatest catcher. So I gave him a C+. He's been okay. He'll end the year with probably 20-something homers, just under 30, if he stays healthy. But he can always get really hot, so you never know. But I feel like it's been a bit. He's not been cold lately, but it's been a bit since he's been hot. When he goes on one of his runs. Higgy, no need to just... For a player, a backup catcher, he's been fine, a C. And again, remember what I said about the skill. Voit, B-. He's starting to hit, man. He's batting .259, 787 now. Obviously, it's going to be interesting to see how this whole thing plays out the rest of the way. But I gave him a B-. He's been pretty productive. Rizzo, I also gave a B-. He's had some ups and downs. He started out really hot with the Yankees. Then went on the COVID list, and he's not exactly been the same since. I don't want to look at the numbers with him because that's very deceiving because it's a smaller sample size. But his defense has been very good. His at-bats are very quality. And he's been powerful too. So I gave him a B- at first base. You slide over the second. DJ gets a C+. Not quite having the greatest of years. 1 second here. Let me just make sure this is all set. C+. He's been good defensively, playing where they need him to play, but his offense has not been there. Not been, great. He's been kind of mediocre all season long. The power is gone. That clutch hitting has been inconsistent. And so I gave him a C+. He's been healthy, but he's definitely not been the Mayhew that we expected when we paid him $90 million. Odor, I gave a C+. His power's been good. Lefty presence gives you some, energy, and it's going to smack those home runs for you. But other than that, he's, he's okay. Nothing special. He did a nice job filling in at third base while Gio was out, so I got to give him credit there. So overall, he's been adequate. He's been fine. Tyler Wade, I actually gave him B-. You can go either one. Yeah, man, he's stealing bases, but he's also hitting the ball this year. If I'm correct, I didn't check, but I think he's batting .284. So he's got the second highest batting average behind Judge now. Yeah, he's been good. He's hitting the ball now. He's stealing bases. He's playing defense, and he's becoming he's just a nuisance for the opposing team. I can't believe I'm saying it. And our other backup infielder, Velasquez, has performed. I gave him a B+. He's been excellent since he's been with us. He's switch hitting, bringing that presence, and he's excellent defensively at shortstop. Glaber's coming back. I give him a D+, though. He's not having a good year. Gio, I gave a B-. He's not been great yet since he's came back, but it was just one series. But he's been good while healthy. He's been solid. Not the same as he's been last 2 years, but he's been solid. Playing defense. Asked to play shortstop a few times. Has done that well. And is hitting the ball a decent amount of times. And, the production's pretty decent when you look at the numbers. Giancarlo Stanton. Did some thinking. He's been very hot lately. But overall, big picture, the whole season, I got a B+. I think he's been very solid. He's very streaky, right? He's extremely streaky. He looks like he doesn't know how to play the game sometimes. Other times, it's like, wow, he's an amazing power hitter. Injuries have also held him back earlier in the year. But he's done a pretty decent job again in the outfield. And overall, you look at the numbers, 269 with an 855 OPS, 24 home runs, 15 doubles, 67 RBIs in 109 games. It looks like he's on pace for another solid season. B+. Aaron Judge is the only Yankee position player I gave an A. I mean, he was having a nice year for most of the year, but recently it's become a robust season for him. He's now batting .292, which was all the way up to .295 before the offer on Sunday. He's got a .383 on base, a .538 slugging, and his OPS is now .921. He's got 29 home runs, so there's actually a shot that if he gets very hot in September, he can get 40 now. 19 doubles, 72 RBIs, and 6 stolen bases. Tell you, man, if Ohtani and Vlad Guerrero Jr. didn't exist, he's probably in the MVP discussion, top 3. You take those two guys out, maybe Judge wins it. Especially if the Yankees find a way to get the division. But those two guys do exist. But yeah, Judge has been great offensively. He's also playing great defense. Playing center field now, too, and he's doing a nice job there. Stealing bases, so he's been good. Guardia gave a C-. He's played defense. That's about it. The offense is not there anymore. Gallo is C+. Not exactly gotten hot yet with us. He's playing good defense, too. He's walking a lot, but he's not hitting the ball. Occasionally he'll hit you a home run, but that's it right now. And that's pretty much what he is, but he's going to get somewhat better. Rotation, I gave a B+. They brought us here. They've been very solid. And the bullpen, I've given a B. They scare me right now, but they've been okay. They've been pretty damn good. Lasagna's been good. Litke's been a rock. Peralta's been a rock since he's come here. There's some, Britton on a low. He's out. He's done. Chapman's been rough. But we've had some ups and downs, but overall, they have a pretty good ERA. You look at it collectively. And then the team. Last but not least, I give the Yankees as a unit a B+. The type of season they're having, overall, you look at a big picture, B+. 76-54 is a decent .585 winning clip, which lands them in second place in the American League East at the moment, 6 games back from the Rays in first place. And they're up in the wild card by 2 games at the moment. So tonight they got the Angels. I don't know who's on the mound for them. I think Ohtani will be pitching this series. I'd have to double check, but that's it. We're going to head to break. When we get back, we'll get to the NYK question of the day. Stay with us. All right. Last time out, our NYK question of the day for 277. Which Yankees rookie won the Rookie of the Year in 1970? And your hint was he also won the AL MVP in 76. The answer to that question, it was Thurman Munson, the catcher. Won the Rookie of the Year in 70 and the MVP in 76. Tonight's episode, for episode 278, brought to you by Anchor. Our NYK question of the day. In 1973, from whom did George Steinbrenner purchase the New York Yankees from? And if you want a hint in this, your hint is that the previous owners purchased the team from Dan Topping and Del Webb in 1964. So after those guys owned it, and before George owned it, who were the owners then? All right, so in 1973, from whom did George Steinbrenner purchase the Yankees from? Let me know the answer on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Guys, if you haven't yet, subscribe to this podcast, BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. We are on all the listening platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, and many more. You can watch the podcast up on YouTube. You can subscribe to this podcast on all those platforms and more. Yankees episodes every series, Knicks every 2 games. We also write a blog, It's My Opinion, recapping the series and the games, depending on how lazy I get with the Yankees and the Knicks. And if you want to follow me on social media, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all that information I just mentioned, the podcast, the blog, and my social, on my Linktree, linktr.ee/rjcarbone. Guys, that is it. My laptop's about to die, so it's a perfect time to end the episode. I'll see you next time. Ciao. This episode is brought to you by Anchor, podcasting made easy.